we would like to go on to the next presentation now, and our next presentation.
Alexandra Burdina is going to speak about feeding groupings of grey whale. And this research was conducted in northeastern Sakhalin. Thank you very much. Dear colleagues, I'm happy to hear you and see you on screen. Yeah, grey whale research of feeding groupings. And we have been doing it for a number of years. Here you can see the whole team of specialists, our young researchers. They successfully work in Sakhalin, and I hope they will continue their work. Prior to 1977, it was thought that the Okhotsk population of grey whales did not exist. But in 1980, some researchers from Korea, so they expressed an idea that there might be grey whales still, and actually it was proved true, and 20 whales were observed in Piltun Lagoon in 1980. Then in the 90s, there was a Japanese photographer, and this, we can call it an opportunistic research. So he took pictures of 9 whales there. At that time, there were no onshore research works, but these photographs laid a foundation of the catalogue of the species that we have been developing since 1994. Then next year, for 1 week, together with our American colleagues, we went there and we took photographs of 28 whales. And starting from 1997 till last year, we conduct regular monitoring of the grey whales population. Okay, and it is to the north and east from the Isle of Sakhalin. Now in our catalogue, there are 314 whales. They have been identified. Well, there are certain discrepancies with the other group that is working there. So it is a combined work, Sakhalin Energy and Exxon oil and gas company. So they have a bigger number because they also work offshore. Yeah, we work only close to onshore area in the Pitun Lagoon. And in 1998, and this was a milestone, a Moloch Park platform was installed in 16 kilometers from this lagoon, and beginning from this time, oil deposits have been actively explored to the north from the Isle of Sakhalin, and actually this is the area where these whales come for feeding. Well, the impulse to this research work was a long-term development of gas and oil production in the Sakhalin shelf. And some time ago, the IUCN included this population, which previously had been viewed as obsolete, and now they categorized it as an endangered subpopulation. And in the Russian literature, it's called Okhotomorsk population, the Sea of Okhotsk population. In 2020, last year, this grey whale subpopulation was included into category 1 of the Red Book of Russia. And this category 1, it is the level of priority of various conservation activities. And there's a decree issued on the 24th of March 2020. It is a decree of the Russian Ministry of Natural Resources, and this is a very important step in conserving this population. Throughout this period, we have achieved so much. And these Sakhalin gray whales, or this western population, as they refer to it in the English language literature, or like we call it, the Sea of Okhotsk population. It is one of the most well-studied populations of large cetaceans. We actually know all their demographic parameters. Okay, the survival rate below 1 year, then a different age-specific information. So when female enter the breeding period, okay, intervals between births, and so on. All this became possible due to this long-term observations. So for almost 25 years, we see that every whale coming close to Sakhalin, we monitor them and we can follow the whole history. And all this formed the basis for this analysis and a future forecast of this population development. In 2020, this survey began quite late, because now we all are speaking how the coronavirus pandemic influenced our work. So we began quite late, July, but the weather was quite fine. And we had 17 days of this sightseeing, and we observed 32 whales. This is very low. For example, have a look. In 2013, there were 94 whales observed, and we see that the number of whales that come for feeding to this lagoon area, now it has reduced drastically. The value of this lagoon area is because female pregnant whales come there, and also female whales with their cubs. So this is an extremely important area. And that is why it is so important to take all possible measures to conserve this area. Throughout the whole period of this survey, so we have collected this information, and you can see what are the major reasons for increasing of this group of whales. And you see that the major contribution to the growth in number of the whales, so it is up to 5% per year. This is due to newly born cubs, and the blue shows animals over 1 year, and we see that there's not very many of them. From 1 to 4 on average, the maximum number was 7. So 7, this is sightings of the adult animals. So this demonstrates that this group is quite isolated, and it is increasing through their internal resources. Also, it is quite significant when we first observe and last observe mother-calf pairs. Female whales and calves, okay, they feed a lot here. And have a look. So this is the data for 2020. Okay, there were 8 females, but as I said, we arrived there quite late July, so it was not possible to identify when they had arrived, but the last sightings, usually they are in August, these were monitored. It is very important to evaluate the distribution of gray whales in the Pilton Lagoon, because this is, as I said, the main area for female whales and calves pairs. And we see the difference, what happened in 2016 and 2017. You see the animals, okay, so they moved in the southern direction. And previously, okay, so, and I can assure you, we have information before 2015, but it was closer to the north. And mainly the whales were observed in that part. But in the recent years, due to various factors, maybe this feeding area and feeding resources have changed. So all the whales, they moved to the south. As I said, last year, there were not so many animals, and you see that they were not in the north or not in the south. And so in the Pilton Lagoon, we were not able to observe many whales. Right, what is happening in the other areas? Well, partly, about 50% that feed near Sakhalin, they go to Californian and Mexican lagoons in wintertime, and their migration routes, they go along the Kamchatka Peninsula, near the Commander Islands, and then they move along the shore, and then they enter the Sea of Okhotsk. In July and August of 2020, we had a survey, and we also took photographs of these animals, and it has been observed that on the 21st of July, we sighted 21 grey whales, and on the 13th of August in the Olga Bay, there were 18 grey whales. So all together, we came across 39 whales, and only one of them, number 35, it was observed twice. And the same whale, the number is 135. So it was observed on the 9th of September. So this whale stayed close to the Kamchatka. We don't know what was happening with him later. We don't know if it reached Sakhalin. Out of these 8 adult whales, 2 females were with calves, and they are in the Sakhalin catalog. You see their numbers: female 149 and calf 310. They were sighted in the Olga Bay, and on the 12th of August, and in August, since the mid of July, okay, so they swam over 800 miles, and they did it in 23 days. The whale number 260 was observed on the 12th of July, and it appeared in Pilton Lagoon on the 24th of August. All this is very interesting data. Well, as for this period, that's it. I would like to thank the International Whaling Commission. Last year, they were financing our work, and we would like to express acknowledgement of contribution of these international specialists, and definitely the survey of grey whale of grey whales in the Sea of Okhotsk is really important, and we hope that we'll be able to continue this work. Thank you very much. You have used up 14.5 minutes all the time, so there's no time for questions.